With the wipe getting closer and closer every single day, it is time to start preparing and thinking about how you're going to approach it. One of the best ways to prepare for this upcoming wipe is to get familiar with level 1 traders and what they have to offer, to see what guns you can build that will give you an advantage compared to other players, or just going in with a stock gun like this. So strap in and let's check out some level 1 trader builds. Before we get started, it should be noted that this video is going to be specifically focusing on what you can buy with traders in order to build a gun. That includes the stock gun itself, so we will not be talking about guns that you were given in the beginning of a wipe, such as a stock M4 for USEC or an RPK for a bear. Also, we are going to be focusing on purchasable weapons and attachments, no barter trades. Yes, I know there's a bunch of good trades that you can do to make guns better, but I feel that deserves its own video in the future. You can use your judgment and put attachments on these guns if you feel the need to, but this guide is mainly going to be focusing on weapons you can build outright from traders if you have no other options. When it comes to building weapons with level 1 traders, the biggest part and struggle is to use guns where you can easily get ammo and magazines for. Because of that reason, you're going to be pretty limited on what you can buy and what you can get. The main weapons that we're going to be focusing on are the OP SKS from Jaeger, the VPO 209, VPO 136, and the 8R, all coming from Skier. The reason that these weapons are what I choose to focus on early wipe is because you can buy all the ammo and magazines for these weapons from level 1 traders. The 3 different ammo types that I'm going to be using: 7.62x39 PS ammo for the OP SKS and for the VPO 209, M855 for the 8R, and TKM EKO rounds for the VPO 136. The reason that I like to use these guns early on in a wipe is because they can be easily modded from level 1 traders, and they each have a sight that can be used on them, which early game is crucial to have a sight on, because the majority of the player base early on is just going to be using a stock weapon, and they won't be using a reticle or a sight. So being able to land more shots using a clear and accurate gun is much more important early on than trying to save a couple thousand rubles. There are a couple optics early on which you can buy and use, and it all comes down to preference and how much you want to spend. Personally, I like to stick with the Axion Cobra sight from Jaeger, but you could use a PKO6, a MRS, the PLOD, or whatever sight you choose to use. For the sake of this video, I just stuck with the Axion Cobra because it's typically what I would use. To start things off, the OP SKS that you get from Jaeger level 1 already has a dovetail mount on it, which makes it way better than the SKS that you get from Prapor. So unlock Jaeger as soon as you can because this gun early wipes shreds. With this gun, you can buy the PSO1 optic from Prapor and immediately attach it to your SKS, which gives you a ton of range, making you have such a massive advantage over other players early on who are specifically going to be focusing on close range combat. Not only that, but it's relatively cheap because you only need to buy the gun and the sight, making it only cost around 50,000 rubles. It is worth noting that you can buy a 20 round mag from Peacekeeper as well for only 21 USD, but that isn't always necessary. So that option's up to you if you're interested in that. The next couple of guns are very similar in build, but there are a couple differences between the two. The VPO 209 and the VPO 136. The only difference between these two are the ammo type, and you can put a suppressor on one of them at level 1. So let's start with attachments that I like to use on both guns. To start things off, the handguard you're going to want to get and use is the AK100 series polymer handguard. This is bought from Prapor at level 1, and the most important reason why I choose to use this is because it has 2 rail mounts already on it, one on the bottom and one on the side, which allows you to attach a grip and a laser or a flashlight. Because of that, I like to throw on the RK6 and the blue laser from Skier. This reduces some recoil, and having a laser for those early white point fire engagements is super important. The next attachment that I throw on both these guns is the Bastion dust cover, which is also bought from Skier. This dust cover allows you to mount a sight on these guns, which, as we mentioned before, is a huge advantage for early wipe. It is worth noting for those new players that in order to put this dust cover on, you will have to remove the rear sight of the stock gun first in order to place the dust cover on top. After you have that on there, you can pick whichever sight you want to use and you'll be good to go. Oh yeah, I did mention that one of them can have a suppressor. The VPO 209 can actually have a suppressor on it that you can buy at level 1 if you are interested in staying a little bit quiet. However, it is worth noting that this gun shoots weaker ammo in comparison to the VPO 136, so there is a trade-off when it comes to whether or not you want to hit harder or stay more quiet. Either way, early on you should be okay with using either one as long as you aim for headshots and take your time. But the suppressor that you're going to want to get is the Rotor R43 366 TKM from Skier. In order to attach it to the gun, just remove the thread protector from the stock gun and boom, it goes right on. Now you can have a silenced weapon day 1 if you want to. The last gun that we're going to be making, which really isn't all that great, but it deserves a spot early on, is the 8R. The 8R is worth adding because it comes with a mount already, that you can have a sight placed on it without having to do anything else. The only issue is the front sight can get in the way of the sight, and it can be really annoying for a lot of players. So in order to get rid of that, you can get the AR-15 RG block from Mechanic and put that on instead of the front sight to give you clear vision, and you're good to go. The reason that I put the 8R on this list is because it shoots pretty common ammo type, being 5.56. You get a ton of M855 as a USEC, and there are going to be a ton of players using it as well. So the benefit of using this gun over others is just the amount of ammo that you're exposed to, and you won't need to be purchasing very much of this ammo, and it can save you a lot of money. But other than that, I would normally stick to the SKS or one of the above VPOs over it. That pretty much sums up what you can do with level 1 traders and attachments that are purchasable from level 1 traders. It is also worth throwing in some honorable mentions such as a double barrel shotgun and the Mosin as viable early on weapons, because they do hit hard and will, in most cases, 1 to 2 shot most players. However, you can't really mod them, so I decided just to leave them as honorable mentions instead. I hope this video has helped some of you be more open to modding your weapons before heading into your first raid. That way, you can go in with something that gives you a better chance of surviving and winning a fight. But that is all I have for you in today's video, and I just want to say happy holidays to everyone who celebrates, and be sure to spend time with your family and loved ones this holiday before the wipe, because we all know once the wipe happens, we're all going to be grinding it, and we probably won't see them as much. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're excited for this upcoming wipe. Also, leave a comment if you have any other gun builds that you like to use that I didn't mention before. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.